Good afternoon. This is call number 2020-05-446. In the interest of Aiden Jerome Lofton, please raise your right hand to be sworn, sir. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right. Please state your name and your relationship to the child.
Jerry Lofton, father.
And for the state?
Angela Jeffries, Your Honor.
Court will note that the non-custodial parent is Tori Dacole Davis. Ms. Davis was personally served on March 9th, 2020 at 5:24 p.m. at 2023 Country Village Boulevard, Unit A in Humble, Harris County, Texas. It appears that she was in court on July 1st and signed a reset order setting the matter for July 13th. Further, she was given notice of this hearing by this Zoom hearing by certified mail. That was delivered September 23rd, 2020 at 6:20 p.m. and she has not checked in. Is that correct, Ms. Jeffries? So we will proceed by default. Go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. The state calls Jeremy, well, I'm sorry. Before I start, Your Honor, we would like to offer into evidence what is marked as State's Exhibit A, the DNA testing in the it was submitted when we filed our original petition. I just would like it admitted into evidence, Your Honor.
All right, the court will take note that the DNA test report will admit Exhibit A and take note that the DNA test report would indicate that the alleged father, Jerry Lofton, is not excluded as the biological father of the tested child, Aiden Lofton. The child is subject to this suit.
Thank you. The state calls Jeremy Jerome Lofton. Mr. Lofton, you took DNA testing in this case, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And did that DNA testing show that you could not be excluded as the father of Aiden Jerome Lofton? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And who is the biological mother of this child?
Tori Davis.
Do you believe that you can co-parent with Miss Davis?
Yes.
Okay, so are you asking this court to appoint you as joint managing conservators?
Yes.
And what is Aiden's last name right now?
Lofton.
Are you asking this court that his surname remain as Lofton?
Yes.
And do you know where Miss Davis currently resides?
Yes.
Where does she reside
I
at?
have I have the address. I don't have it with me.
Does she
I'm
reside in
asking.
Harris County?
Yes, it's in it's either Harris County or Humble. I'm not sure what.
Okay, okay. And so are you asking this court to geo-restrict her to Harris County?
Ma'am.
Are you asking that the court place a geo-restriction on Ms. Davis to Harris County and the contiguous counties?
Geographical restriction, where she can only live in Harris County and surrounding counties. Is that okay with you?
It's fine.
Okay. All right. When was the last time you saw your son, sir?
Um, August 3rd.
Okay. And how long was that visit for?
I had him for the whole day.
Okay. And before that, when was the last time you seen your son?
It was November, December. I'm not sure.
So are you asking this court to order a standard possession order in this case?
What is that?
Okay. Do you understand you're asking this court to order visitation first, third, and fifth weekends?
Holidays,
Yes.
etc.
Yes.
All right.
All
Yes.
right.
Yes.
All right. And you currently are employed. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
And is your gross monthly resources $4,598?
Yes.
All right. And do you have health insurance available for your son via your employer?
Yes.
And you are willing to keep coverage for that child via your employer?
Yes.
And so are you asking this court, well, I'm sorry, do you have any other children under 18?
Yes.
Do you have any other children that you pay child support for or that reside in the same household as you?
Yes.
How many other children do you have, sir?
4 I'm paying child support on that does not reside in the same household.
Okay, so are you asking this court to set your child support based on taking into account those 4 other children?
Yes.
Okay, and do you understand that you were asking, or if we take that into consideration, that your child support would be $494 beginning November 1st of 2020?
Yes. All this.
Yes,
Four,
sir. I can.
464 and 494.
494, sir.
Yes.
Okay. And the last thing is for retro judgment. Are you asking this court, or do you agree for this court to enter judgment in an amount of 494 against you for a retro or back child support amount,
Yes.
and that should be paid at $10 a month beginning November 1st of 2020?
Yes.
Okay. And do you understand that your child support of 494 will begin November 1st of 2020?
Yes.
Okay. And you understand that we are not seeking a retro medical or dental judgment against you.
Yes.
And as far as court costs, do you understand that court costs will be billed against you and that they will be payable by December 1st of 2020?
Yes.
Okay, do you believe this order to be in the best interest of the child?
Yes.
Are you asking this court to approve this order?
Yes.
I have nothing further for this witness, John.
All right, the court will approve the order submitted. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lofton, you can log off. Judge, I think I might have a case coming up for hearing, but I don't know if both the parties are here yet.
Sometimes, Ms. Jeffries, it's hard. I know it's hard for you to do, but for example, are you asking for a geo restriction?
Mhm.
They wouldn't know. You know, you have to break things down a little more. And unless
Okay,
you've explained standard possession order to them, and you're going to ask them about it, tell them you're going to ask them about standard possession order, and then
okay,
ask them, is that your agreement? You know, that like I explained it to you.
okay.
Makes it
So
makes it a
just
little
work
easy.
on.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
This is going to be a hearing. She can tell me what it was, issues were.
Do we have how many parties do we have on this case?
I think we only have 2, Your Honor.
Where is the custodial parent?
I think she's there by phone, the 720 number. Is that you, Miss Mitchell?
Yes, I'm here.
All
All
right,
right.
so it should be Mitchell and Moore.
All right. This is called number 2020-08247 in the interest of Madison, Carrie Ann, Reagan, and Bryce Moore. Please, both parties raise your right hands to be sworn. You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Mr. Damon, did you raise your right hand to be sworn? Mr. Damon, you haven't, you need to unmute yourself. You have yourself on mute.
Unmute yourself, Mr. Damon.
Press *6 to unmute.
Mr. Damon, if you can hear us, we need you to unmute yourself.
Mr. Damon,
All right, so
there
I'm
you are.
unmuted.
Oh, yes. All right. Raise your right hand to be sworn, sir. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, ma'am, can you please tell me your name and how you're related to the children?
Kimberly Mitchell Moore, I'm their mother.
All right. And sir, your name and your relationship to the children
Damon Moore, and I'm the father.
and for the state?
Angela Jeffries, Your Honor.
And we have an original petition to, in a suit affecting the parent-child relationship and also to establish the parent-child relationship. Is that correct,
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Jeffries? All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And we're having a hearing. And do we have any stipulations?
Yes, Your Honor, we do.
All right.
Um,
Let's proceed with those. Let's read those into the record.
Your Honor. Yes, sir. The parties have stipulated to sole managing conservatorship, with Ms. Mitchell being the parent to determine where the children reside. Agreed to a geo restriction for Ms. Mitchell in Harris County or contiguous counties.
What type of restriction?
A geographical restriction
All right.
to Harris County or contiguous counties. Parties have also stipulated to a modified possessions schedule, which will be the first, third, and fifth Sundays of each month from 9 to 6 p.m. Pickup and drop off, Your Honor, will be at 7231 1960 Road West, Humboldt, Texas, 77380, which is a post office. Parties have also stipulated, Your Honor, that child support should be $414 beginning November 1st of 2020. That the medical support would be $116 beginning November 1st of 2020. And I have no further stipulations. No.
All right. And the issues are?
Non-disclosure of the custodial parent's address and issues of retro.
All right. Mr. Moore, you heard the stipulations that were read into the record by Ms. Jeffries. Are those your agreements so far?
I mean, I guess so, sir. I mean, I would like to know where she lives, but it's no big deal, I guess.
Well, no. We're not. We haven't gotten there yet.
If she doesn't want me to do,
Just
to know
okay.
where she lives.
Hold on a minute, Mr.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute, Mr. Demon. Only the things that
Were you
Miss
talking about the
Jeffries
money?
read about, you know,
Yeah.
about the conservatorship, possession and access, child support, et cetera. Are you in agreement with that?
Uh, I guess. I mean, is that? I guess so. Yes, sir.
All right, ma'am. You heard the
I,
stipulations that Miss Jeffries read. Are you in agreement with those?
Yes, sir.
All right. And
is
so
there
the
any
issues
way
and
we can make it
it,
a flat
sir,
500 a month?
no, sir. Either you're in agreement or you're not. If you're not in agreement, then I'll make a decision.
Okay,
It could
let's
be
go
more
ahead
or
with it.
less. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Let's go ahead with it. You broke up a little bit, but yes, just let's go ahead with it.
Okay, so you're in agreement with everything so far. The only issues that we're going to be talking about are how much retroactive child support that you may or may not owe, and whether the mother's address will be disclosed. Okay, do you understand that, Mr. Damon?
Yes, sir.
You understand that, Miss Moore?
Yes, sir.
And those are the only issues, correct, Miss Jeffries?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, let's proceed.
The state calls Kimberly Ann Mitchell. Miss Mitchell, does Mr. Moore currently know?
No, he doesn't.
Okay. Do you believe him having your address will cause you harm or harassment?
I do believe it's possible.
Okay. And why do you believe him having your address will cause you harm or harassment?
Just because of past um, occurrences or abuse.
Okay. And when you say
Wow.
past occurrences, what do you mean?
Just things that was happening in the home before, and just his level, his how he gets when he's angry.
Um, when he knew your address, did he ever show up to your house and announce?
When I was at my sister's house, yes, and the house we lived in together that he wasn't in at the time.
Okay. And when you say he showed up, um, did he did he harass you or did he do anything to you when he showed up?
No, he didn't do anything.
Okay. So you are still stating to this court, however, that you believe him having your address will cause you harm or harassment.
Yes, it's possible.
Okay, why do you believe that, ma'am? Has there been some type of harm that he has caused in the past?
When we lived together, yes.
All right, Miss Jeffries, follow up with that.
Okay. And so when you lived together, what type of incidents occurred, I guess?
Physical abuse.
When you say physical abuse, what exactly happened, ma'am?
Um, Everything. Hitting, pushing against walls, picking me up one time. I mean, it's several things.
Were the police ever called to your house?
Yes, several times.
Okay. And were any of those incidents in the last 2 years?
I don't think in the last 2 years because we weren't talking or we weren't together.
Okay. So in the last 2 years, there has not been physical violence between you and Mr. Moore. Is that correct?
No, that not that I can remember right now.
Did
Okay.
he know where you live in the last 2 years?
When I was at my sister's, yes.
All right.
And you
Sir,
stated
I mean,
No, sir.
you,
Wait your turn. All right. Go ahead.
you stated that he currently does not know your physical address. Is that correct?
Yes, as far as I know, he doesn't.
Okay. So if he wanted to see the children, where would he go to visit with them? If he wanted to visit, where would he come to visit with them?
Probably meet up or at his home.
Okay. So if you do visitation, it is never pick up and drop off at your residence.
Right.
Okay. As far as the retro or back child support, when was the last time you and Mr. Moore resided together?
Uh, December, I want to say maybe January. Oh gosh. It was our house, but he hadn't been in the house for a while before that. So I moved into my sister's, I think February of 2018. So several months before that,
So since
I'm
January
not sure.
2018, you guys have not resided together?
Right. Well, it was before that, but yes.
Okay. Do you have, has Mr. Moore given you any support for these children in the last 4 years?
In the last 4 years, yes, but within, I would say the last 3 years, maybe two, no.
All right. Since you separated, which you
Mhm.
say was sometime late 2017, but you're all right with
Yeah.
January 2008. Since January 2018, has he provided any support?
No, he's may have given something here and there, but it's n- definitely not consistent or
All right.
Um, when you say he's giving you
much of anything.
value for a, do you have an estimate of the amount of money, or uh, do you have an estimate of the amount of money he's giving you since January of 2018?
No, ma'am, I don't. But it's maybe $100 here and there, or maybe a little more. I'm not sure.
Um, and do you have any personal knowledge of where he was working in January of 2018?
January. I believe Sterling McCall.
Okay. And do you have any knowledge or personal knowledge of how much he was making in January of 2018?
No, ma'am, I didn't even know how much he was making when we were married or living together. Never.
All right. So is it correct that you are seeking retro from a period of January 2018 to today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And if we did order retro in this case, are you asking this court to set a monthly payout on that retro?
Yes, ma'am.
I have nothing further for this witness, Sean.
Okay, Mr. Moore, do you have any
Yes,
questions
sir.
for Miss Mitchell? Do you have any questions for Miss Mitchell?
I mean, she knows that this is not necessary, but like she's saying, I only gave $100 couple here and there. That's not true, Judge. I got
Okay,
a
well,
cash.
wait a second. Wait a second. I'm going to allow you to say something, but right
Okay.
now she's on the witness stand, and you have a
Okay.
right to ask her a question about the child support and whether her address should be disclosed. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Do
like
you
I
have any
said, I don't want
Do you have any questions for her?
to know.
Okay. I'm going to let you say something in a little while, but we're going to do this in order. All right. Call your next witness, Miss Jeffrey.
The state calls Damon Moore. Mr. Moore, do you currently know where Miss Mitchell resides?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Okay. When you knew where she resided, did you ever show up to her house unannounced?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And why did you?
I'm gonna tell you the reason for that, though. I'm gonna tell you why. Though. Can I do
Objection.
that?
Not
No,
responsive.
not yet. Yeah, she asked you one question. You're going to be able to explain yourself.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
So this is a question. Why did you show up to her house unannounced, sir?
Say again.
Why did you show up to her house unannounced?
Because she has the kids, of course. Okay. A couple of times was during the pandemic. I'd call her 2 or 3 weeks in a row, text her, she wouldn't answer the phone. So I go over, hey, y'all got something to eat? Are y'all okay? You know what I mean? Right before they shut everything down for the first time. Okay, I had been calling her a couple of weeks before that and she wouldn't answer. But just for things like that. You know what I mean? I never showed up. She was living with her sister. I never showed up in a disrespectful manner. The only reason I ever showed up is when she didn't answer the phone for 2 or 3 months or 2 or 3 weeks. It could be either or. Okay. Then I just go by and say, hey, man, are you okay? Are the kids okay? Did y'all need anything? That's the only reason I showed up.
Okay. So do you
She
believe
can
it's
vouch for that.
interest Do you believe it's in the best interest of the children that you know where Miss Mitchell lives?
The only reason I would like to know, I mean, I could care less where she lives, I guess. But the only reason I would like to know, because like I said, I know if I'm pretty sure, okay, that if I don't have that filed right now, then she could move next month, okay, and you know what I mean. I wouldn't know where her or my kids are until she got ready to let me know, and that could be kind of spotty. So that's the only reason that I'm even, trying to get that put in there.
Is there any truth to her allegation that the police have been called for physical violence between you and Miss Mitchell?
They have been called, and there was a reason she gave, but I never beat her up. I never beat her up.
In the last 2 years, have the police been called on you or Miss Mitchell for family violence?
In the last 2 years,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
off the top of my head, I would have to say no, because we've been out of that house for longer than 2 years.
Okay. In the
Okay,
last, I'm sorry. If you had Miss Mitchell's address, would you ever show up to her house unannounced?
no, because that's where she lives. She pays the rent and all that. So, no,
So you were asking this court to order that her address be disclosed in this order. Is that correct?
yes, ma'am.
All right. The next thing is Ms. Ms. Mitchell testified that you guys split up around January of 2018.
Okay,
Is that your recollection of when you guys separated?
that is when we got evicted. Okay, around January of 2018. I had not lived in the house with them for the previous 7 months. She was not working at that time. I was still paying the bills at the house that they were living in while she had the doors wedged and the patio door jammed with screwdrivers so I couldn't get in the house that I was paying the rent at. Okay, that's why I can't understand the back child pay thing. That's why I
Okay,
really can't understand.
so hold
She
on.
just started working this year.
So, Mr. Moore, when are you alleging that you and her no longer resided in the same household together?
Well, sometime around the summer of 2017.
Okay.
Okay, but it's
And
my understanding what you're saying, sir, is that you continued to pay the bills until January of 2018. Is that correct?
yes, I was not able to. I had to go through 2 or 3 different jobs
No,
because
sir.
I was bouncing around. Okay,
No,
you
no, no,
know.
no, 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 no. Listen to my statement.
Yeah. Okay.
From what I'm understanding that you're saying is that you continued to pay the bills up until January of 2018 when they got evicted. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
No,
Except
sir.
And
except they
you
got
stuck it
evicted.
on
They
to,
got
huh?
evicted because the rent wasn't paid, right?
Right, right.
So
And that wasn't a choice.
you didn't pay the rent at that
That is
time.
correct.
Is that correct?
That is
All right.
correct. I couldn't afford to.
All right.
I
Go ahead,
couldn't
Mr.
afford it.
Jeffrey.
I was bouncing around from different people's houses paying the bills at that house.
I understand. Go ahead,
Have
Miss.
you given any support to Miss Mitchell for these children since January of 2018, sir?
Yes, ma'am. And I do have the records. I don't have a record of all of it, but I have a record on Cash App, for thousands of dollars.
Okay. And you
That cash, but Cash App, I mean, I have it there. I just looked it up while I was on hold. It's thousands of dollars.
okay. All right. And so since 2018 or January of 2018, have you been employed anywhere else? Or were you working in January of 2018?
In January of 2018, I was working. Um, I can't remember exactly where I was. I bounced around so much, man, in the past 2 or 3 years since that went on. I mean, I was working because the only time I've ever not worked is during the pandemic. That's the only time that she's known me that I haven't had a job. Okay.
Okay, so in 2018, how much were you making? In the year of 2018, what was your hourly rate?
Wow, man, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Sir, you saying that you haven't worked because of the pandemic? Is that correct?
Right. That's the only time that
So,
I've ever not had a job.
okay, so you don't
That's
have a
not
job right
good.
now because we're in the
Um,
pandemic, right?
well, yeah, I'm working now. I mean, when things shut down and people were sending employees home and everything, that's the only time that I was ever without a job.
And when did you
That's not
start back into your job?
About a less than a month ago, about a month ago.
And what do you do? Where do you work?
I work at the Montron Ford in Cleveland, Texas.
And what do you do there?
I'm a salesperson.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Mr. Jeffries.
All right, so in 2018, you don't remember what your hourly rate or what your salary was.
No, ma'am. That's kind of no, ma'am. I don't know. Like I said, I've bounced around a couple different places dealing with these issues. I can't. I don't know.
Okay.
I really just
In
don't know.
2019, for the year 2019, do you know where you worked at?
I worked at Sterling McCall Ford. I'm sorry, Sterling McCall Chevrolet.
Okay.
I might have been at Planet Ford. I might have been at Doggett Ford as well.
Are
I
these
mean,
all sales jobs?
yes, sir.
Okay, so you're not an hourly employee, correct?
No, sir, I'm not.
You work strictly on commission?
Yeah, yeah. Well, commission. I mean, if just say for instance, if
You have a
another.
draw.
No, I do not have a draw.
All right, so do you get any hourly pay?
That's what I was about to say. So if it's set up to where just say for instance, if we don't make enough money or if we don't surpass minimum wage, they'll give us a minimum wage check for our hours.
All right.
That's about it.
Um, so for 2020, uh, where have you worked since January of 2020? I know you mentioned that you were unemployed, but where have you worked for since January of 2020?
Sterling McCall, uh, Sterling McCall on 45. I forget. I think it's Sterling McCall Chevrolet.
Mhm. And when did you start at Sterling McCall Chevrolet?
Ma'am, I know that's a hard question, ma'am. I can't. I don't know. It's been a lot of places in the last couple of years.
I'm
I don't
saying
remember when I
this
started.
year. This year, when did you start Sterling McCall Chevrolet?
Well, no, I was working there. I was working there at the beginning of the year. I do know that. Well, I'm quite sure of that at least.
Okay. And when did you when did you lose your job or when were you not employed in 2020?
Um, Probably from April, for probably about 4 months after April, 4 or 5 months.
April to what April to what month, sir?
Um, Till last month.
Okay. And do you recall what you averaged in a salary per month?
At Sterling McCall,
Yes,
ma'am.
sir. Yes, sir.
Um, I'm gonna guess and say 4,000.
Okay. Let me ask you, did you file taxes in the year 2017?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you file taxes in the year 2018?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you filed taxes for the year 2019 yet?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you file them as joint or single?
Head of household.
Did you file them as a married person or as a single person, sir?
Single. I mean, we never filed married taxes.
Okay. Um, so right now you do not know what you made in those previous years. Is that correct?
Ma'am, right off the top of my head, ma'am, I'm sorry. I do not know. I can't recall.
Okay. Nothing further for this witness, Your Honor.
All right, Miss,
I would like to recall.
wait a minute. Miss Mitchell, do you have any questions
Yes.
for Mr. Moore?
Um, I did. I can't remember. Um,
All right, he claims that he claims that he has sent you quite a bit of money. Is that not correct?
that's not correct, especially not thousands, like he's
I
saying.
got a record.
All right, sir. Let me ask you, what does the record show?
Over $5,000.
Over a period of
You asked since 2000.
almost 3 years, correct?
No, sir. Not 3 years. I mean, like since like last summer, maybe.
Since last summer, you've
I just texted her.
sent her an average of what, $500 a month?
I'm not sure what the average is,
No
sir. I just
way.
went down Cash App, adding up the dollar amounts.
All right,
Not
ma'am.
at all.
What do you think it is?
It's not true. Not if you're saying like $500 a month in the last I'm not sure what was the time frame you said, like 2 years or
Sir,
something.
I texted her
Definitely
the
not.
screenshot. I texted her the screenshots of a few of them. Okay, if she would look at her text message, she can do the math herself. It's quite a bit.
Did you get that text message, ma'am?
Hold on a minute. I haven't gotten a message.
All right.
I can send it to who I need to send it to.
All
He
right,
hasn't sent it to me.
Miss Jeffers, you have questions for Miss Moore? I'm sorry, Miss Mitchell.
Your Honor, you asked that question, Your Honor,
All
which
right.
was just could she reconcile the allegation of cash apps?
All right.
So I'm not re-asking it. I have nothing
And that's
further, Your Honor.
all of it. That's just what I have a record of.
There's definitely not been anything outside of that, and I would like to see the screenshots he said he sent.
Okay, I sent it to you. I sent you about 5 or 6 of them, 5 or 6 screenshots with dollar amounts on them from Cash App with
I
your
haven't
picture on the thing so when you receive the money.
I haven't received it.
Okay.
Are you sending it to her again, sir?
Sir,
Are you?
I can.
Well, what does it add up to as far as you're concerned? You said
It's
five
over.
thousand
Yes, it's a
dollars.
little. That's not the exact amount, but it is a little over 5,000. You know, it was a couple 20 and 50 and $40 that I didn't add up. You know what I mean? Once I got over 5,000, but it is most definitely that.
All right. All right, Miss Jeffers. Anything further?
Your Honor, I just believe that we should table the issue of retro for final orders until the non-custodial parent, Mr. Moore, can produce his tax records and proof of the evidence that he sent cash apps.
Miss Moore or Miss Mitchell, do you have anything further you want to say?
The only thing was he said he was paying rent up until eviction. It was the complete months, which he said 7 months. I'm not sure of the exact amount of
It
months
was.
he
I
was
lived
out
through
of
it.
the
It was
house.
7 months.
Okay, it was not paid.
Okay, right
I'm
now
not
I'm
sure if
only
I still have the
concerned.
papers.
Right, right now I'm only
Oh,
concerned of what payments were made since January of 2018.
Okay.
I mean, you didn't give out a figure. Do you have a figure in mind of how much he may have paid during that period of time?
No, I don't, but I'm more than sure it's not 5,000 at all. That's like a ridiculous amount.
Could
we're in
it be a
court. I
hundred
ain't gonna lie
dollars?
to the
Could it
judge.
be average? Hold on, Mr. Demings. Could it be an average of $100 a month, which would be $3,400?
Yes, it could be.
Could it be $200 a month?
Um, could be, but I'm not sure about that.
He said an average. Okay.
All right. Anything further, Mr. Moore?
Yes. I would like to ask Ms. Mitchell, does she know that the judgment for the back pay is going to go directly to my credit report as soon as they submit it? I'm gonna have is that correct, Judge? That I have a 15 or however what the dollar amount is judgment on my credit for the back child support?
No, Ms. Jeffries can answer that for you. Does this retroactive
Your
child support
Honor,
have anything to do with those? I don't think a retroactive judgment goes into a credit report, sir. Does it, Ms. Jeffries?
correct. As long as the judgment is, Your Honor, as far as I know, the judgment will show up, but as long as it is paid monthly, it will report as paid. It will not report as a past due debt.
All
Is the
right.
best that I can tell you right now.
All right. The court will approve all the stipulations. Non-disclosure is granted. Retroactive child support uh, judgment is awarded in the amount of $4,000 to be paid at the rate of $50 a month, all payments beginning November 1st, 2020. Anything further?
Nothing
Yeah.
further,
So
Your
what do
Honor.
I need to do to prove that I sent her this money over this period of time?
It's done, sir. All right. Anything further, Ms. Jeffries?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Moore and Ms. Mitchell, you will need to log back into the other Zoom hearing setting right quick so we can finish drafting your order. Judges made this ruling.
So how do I get back to the
So
other room?
you just put that other code back, the 892-0876-3897.
The first code or the one you emailed me?
The first code.
Okay.
All
And
right,
I can
thank
enter
you.
that way. All right. Thank you.
Ms. Jeffries, if you haven't asked those questions before we have a final hearing about whether proof of payment, I'm not going to be making temporary orders and reserving the retro for final hearing. We could do that on practically every case because they always come up with something,
Okay,
right? So you're going to say, okay, well,
okay,
show me, exactly, get that down, before we get into a final hearing, and that way it won't be sort of left dangling out there. I did it on that previous case. I can see where that'll happen continuously if, and we'll get into temporary
right.
retro judgment. So have them present whatever proof they have, or, if they can't provide any proof, well then, you can say, I asked you to provide proof and you had no proof. So, you know,
Okay. I just wanted to make sure it's accurate, Your Honor. And when it's so many variables, it's just if I'm relied on a calculator, they don't have numbers for me. I'm trying to present the most accurate picture, but I understand.
I understand. Sometimes we can't. Sometimes we have to just take a guess at it, and
Okay.
I can go from zero to whatever amount that I decide would be the retroactive judgment, because I can give them credit for anything. And so,
Okay.
I mean, I like for you to have the figures, but make sure that you have inquired about any proof that they may have of payments and how you can possibly get that proof, so that then you can make your calculations. Okay?
Okay. Yes, Your Honor. I have one more default, Judge, but I have to go see what's going on with it. Just one more case, I believe.
All right.
All right. I'll be right back shortly.